Hepatitis B serology seems complicated, and for some reason it's one of the MRCP examiner's favorite topics. Can't say I blame them though. It's very interesting and actually not that complicated. Let's explain and simplify it, and I promise by the end of the video you will understand it. Right, so let's get into it. Hepatitis B infection is caused by the hepatitis B virus, a member of the Hyponatremia family. Transmission is via infected blood or bodily fluids. Common route of transmission are sexual intercourse, blood-to-blood contact such as IV drug use, needle stick injuries in healthcare staff, and theoretically, blood transfusion from an infected donor. However, this is really rare these days. There is also vertical transmission from an infected mother to the infant during delivery or the course of the pregnancy. The clinical course varies significantly, ranging from asymptomatic and self-limiting infections to fulminant hepatic failure and risk of hepatocellular carcinoma in the long term. Serology is a great tool because from a simple blood test we can answer all the questions below. Is there an infection? And if so, is it acute or chronic? Is it currently active? Or is there only immunity against Hep B? All of these we could answer with one simple blood test. Now, if we want a full serology, we send a blood test for the following markers. Hepatitis B surface antigen, or HBS, and its antibody. HBC, its antigen itself is not clinically relevant, but anti-HBC, both the IgM and the IgG, and hepatitis B envelope antigen and its antibody. Now, if we have a look at a figure of hepatitis B to put a face to the name, we can see where each of these antigens are. Here we can see the surface, core, and envelope antigens, and of course the antibodies are produced by our body's immune system once exposed to these antigens. The hepatitis B surface antigen is a protein on the Hep B virus surface and is the first marker to be positive after exposure to the virus, and it stays positive thereafter. Thus, a positive HBS antigen means infection with the virus at some point. So, it will be positive in an acute infection and both active and inactive chronic infections. Now, once the host has had an immune response, it develops antibodies to the HBS antigen. Anti-HBS, this is termed seroconversion. Presence of HBS antibody means clearance of the antigen and indicates immunity in both its forms. So we expect it to be positive in either resolution of infection or in vaccination against Hep B. Now we get to the core antigen, which is part of the viral capsid. Remember one thing, C equals chronic. HBC antigens are not clinically relevant, as we mentioned. However, antibodies to HBC or anti-HBC is routinely measured in Hep B serology. Its IgM form is raised during acute infection and falls within 6 months. Thus, is present in acute infections only. However, its IgG form is the measure of chronicity, meaning that the person has been infected at some point. If positive, it indicates either a chronic infection, active or resolved, or immunity following infection. So it means that there has been an infection, either a chronic infection or an infection that has resolved. The last serum marker we will discuss is HBe and its antibody. It's located between the core and the envelope, as we saw in the figure. Remember that E is for infectivity. I know it's not the same letter, but it's the same sound. It's simply a marker of active viral replication, and thus a marker of infectivity and a high risk of transmission. If it's positive, it means that either there is an acute infection or it's active chronic infection. So either an acute infection or an active chronic infection. And thus, it's a good marker to monitor disease activity. Whenever it's positive, it means there is an active disease. Developing antibodies against HBe or an anti-HBe logically means clearance of HBe antigen and thus indicates inactivity. So once the antigen is gone and we have the antibody, it means that the disease is inactive. If positive, it indicates either immunity following an infection or a chronic infection going from the active phase to the inactive phase. You can use this table as a summary, take a screenshot, and use it when you need a recap. Now, let's put all of this into practice with a question. I won't give you much clinical details to see how well you can interpret the serology. A 43-year-old IV drug user presents to the emergency department with abdominal pain. Hepatitis B is suspected and a full Hep B serology is requested. You can see the result of the serology below, and the question is, which of the following is the correct diagnosis? Acute Hep B infection, active chronic infection, inactive chronic infection, immunity from infection, or immunity from vaccination. Now you can pause the video for a second and answer the question. The correct answer is in the comment section. Have a look. If you got it right, like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you didn't, watch the video again and then like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. This is Dr. Yad, and I will see you next time.